Welcome, my friends. Today I bring you something truly remarkable. An experience I've carefully created not only to help sharpen your English listening skills, but also to give you knowledge that will stay with you for life. This isn't just another story. It's a journey into one of humanity's greatest mysteries. We're about to explore something so astonishing, so captivating, that even the most brilliant minds in science still cannot fully explain it. Picture this. You find yourself standing in the heart of a vast desert. Golden dunes stretch endlessly in every direction, the scorching wind brushing against your face and carrying with it the whispers of an ancient civilization. And before you rises something so colossal, so flawless, that it almost defies belief. A monument that has endured for more than 4,500 years, watching empires rise and fall, surviving wars, storms, and the endless march of time itself. Yes, my friends, I'm speaking of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is more than just a monument, it is a puzzle that has baffled scientists, archaeologists, and historians for centuries. How could it have been built? How did people without modern machines lift millions of enormous stones and arrange them with such impossible precision? Why was it created at all? And could there still be secrets hidden within its depths? This is only the beginning. Stay with me until the very end, because what you are about to discover will forever change how you look at history. Let's journey back in time. 4,500 years ago, to the land of the pharaohs. In ancient Egypt, there reigned a king so powerful that his people saw him not merely as a ruler, but as a living god. His name was Khufu, also known as Cheops. He desired something no other king had dared to attempt before, a monument that would last for eternity. Not just any structure, but the grandest, most enduring, and most flawless creation ever built by human hands. A monument so awe-inspiring that thousands of years later, people would still stand in its shadow and marvel at the impossible. And so, Khufu commanded the construction of what we now call the Great Pyramid of Giza. The challenge was staggering. Imagine, no trucks, no cranes, no advanced machinery. Yet they erected a pyramid made of 2.3 million massive stone blocks, each weighing between 2.5 and 15 tons, as heavy as 2 elephants. The pyramid's total weight reached about 6.5 million tons, and its original height soared to 146.6 meters, taller than a modern 50-story building. Each block was set with such perfect mathematical precision that even today, with all our technology, we struggle to reproduce it. And the most baffling part? The entire pyramid was supposedly completed in only 20 years. Let's pause for a simple calculation. If 2.3 million blocks were used and construction lasted 20 years, then workers would have needed to place a block every 2 to 3 minutes, day and night without stopping, for 2 decades straight. How could they possibly raise such massive stones to such incredible heights without cranes? How were they transported across the desert without trucks? And perhaps most importantly, why? Before tackling these questions, let's talk about the people who built it. Many assume the pyramids were raised by slaves, forced to labor under brutal conditions. But archaeologists have uncovered evidence that tells a very different story. The builders were skilled laborers, engineers, artisans, and craftsmen. They were not treated as slaves, but were provided with food, housing, and even medical care. They lived in organized workers' villages near the pyramid, and were respected for their role in creating something that would immortalize their civilization. Still, even with thousands of skilled workers, the mystery remains: how did they accomplish it? This is where the theories begin. Over centuries, scientists and engineers have proposed explanations for how the ancient Egyptians moved and lifted such colossal stones. Let's look at some of the most famous ideas. The ramp theory. One possibility is that massive ramps were built out of mud brick and limestone, allowing workers to drag the stones upward on sledges using ropes. To reduce friction, water might have been poured over the sand, making the sleds glide more easily. While this sounds reasonable, there's a flaw. Such ramps would have needed to be larger than the pyramid itself, yet no definitive traces of them have ever been found. The internal spiral ramp theory. Another suggestion is that hidden ramps were built inside the pyramid, forming a spiral passage like a winding staircase. Workers might have used these internal ramps to move stones upward. This could explain why no remains of giant external ramps exist today. However, no solid evidence of these secret tunnels has been confirmed. The water transport theory. Some believe the stones were floated along canals. In ancient times, the Nile River was closer to the site. Huge blocks could have been transported on boats across the water to the base of the pyramid. This helps explain transportation across the desert, but still doesn't answer how they managed to lift such weight to incredible heights. And then comes the ultimate question: why build such a monument in the first place? The official explanation is that the Great Pyramid was intended as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. Inside lies the so-called King's Chamber, believed to have been the resting place for his body. But here's where things become even more puzzling. What if the pyramid isn't just a tomb? What if it hides chambers, passages, and secrets that science has yet to understand? From the outside, the pyramid looks like nothing more than a giant stone mountain, but inside it is far more mysterious. There are three main chambers: the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and a subterranean chamber. Yet the real enigma lies in the narrow corridors, hidden shafts, and strange doorways that seem to lead nowhere. At the heart of it all is the King's Chamber, a dark, silent room made entirely from solid red granite. The King's Chamber itself holds a mystery unlike any other. It is built from granite so dense that even modern cutting tools struggle against it. Inside this solemn chamber lies only a single object, a massive empty stone sarcophagus. This is believed to have been the resting place of Pharaoh Khufu. But when the chamber was first opened in modern times, researchers were stunned. The sarcophagus was completely empty. No mummy, no treasure, nothing at all. Adding to the puzzle, the sarcophagus is far too large to fit through the narrow passageways that lead into the chamber. This means it must have been set in place during the pyramid's construction, long before the walls closed around it. Some scholars have suggested that perhaps this chamber was never meant to serve as a tomb. But if not, then what purpose did it serve? Another enigmatic space within the pyramid is known as the so-called Queen's Chamber. Curiously, no queen was ever laid to rest there. From its walls, two slender shafts extend upward, but they are far too small for a person to pass through. And for centuries, no one knew their true purpose or where they might lead. Connecting these chambers is one of the most extraordinary features of the pyramid: the Grand Gallery. Unlike anything else in Egyptian architecture, its walls rise in precise angled steps, creating a visual illusion of symmetry and depth. Even more astonishing, the gallery aligns perfectly with the stars. Many believe it could have served as more than just a corridor, perhaps some kind of energetic chamber, a scientific device, or a spiritual mechanism that we no longer comprehend, and the mysteries only deepen. In 2017, scientists using advanced scanning technology uncovered an astonishing discovery: a vast, previously unknown void within the pyramid. This hidden chamber is even larger than the King's Chamber, yet no one has ever entered it. No doors, no openings, no way to explore what lies inside. To this day, its contents and its purpose remain a secret. Strangely, the Egyptian authorities have prohibited further investigation. This raises an unsettling question. What could be concealed in that hidden space? Could it hold ancient artifacts, knowledge that might rewrite history or even the true resting place of Khufu? And then comes something even more astonishing. In 2018, researchers revealed that the Great Pyramid interacts with electromagnetic energy. Tests showed that the pyramid structure naturally focuses electromagnetic waves into certain chambers. To many, this suggested the pyramid was not designed solely as a tomb, but as something far greater. Was it a power generator? A cosmic device designed to align with the heavens? Or perhaps the product of knowledge long since lost? Some even connect this to another ancient enigma, the Dendera light. In the Temple of Dendera, carvings depict what appears to be a giant bulb with a snake-like filament inside, connected by a wire-like structure. It looks eerily similar to a modern electric light. Could this mean the Egyptians possessed knowledge of electricity thousands of years before its supposed discovery? Mainstream scholars dismiss it as symbolism, yet others believe it hints at a forgotten technology once used inside their sacred structures. Despite centuries of exploration, vast portions of the pyramid remain sealed off and unexplored. Tiny shafts snake through its structure, many too narrow for a person to enter. Their destinations are unknown, and their purpose is unclear. Because of this, scientists have begun sending specialized robots to probe these inaccessible spaces. One such device, a small remote-controlled robot named Jetty, was built with cameras and drilling tools to explore the narrow shafts of the Queen's chamber. As Jetty crept through one of these tiny tunnels, it encountered a peculiar stone door, fitted with two copper handles, something entirely unexpected inside a pyramid. Using a small drill, the robot bored a hole through the slab and pushed its camera through. What it revealed was astonishing. A hidden chamber marked with red symbols on its walls. These markings had never been recorded before. Were they secret messages left by the builders? Evidence of forgotten knowledge? Their meaning remains unknown. Later, another robot explored a different shaft and found yet another concealed doorway, hinting at more hidden chambers yet to be discovered. But why did the ancient Egyptians construct secret rooms that no human could enter? What purpose did they serve? And why, even with modern technology, are we still unable to unravel all the pyramid's mysteries? One of the most mind-blowing revelations about the Great Pyramid is its geographical placement. It stands precisely at the center of the Earth's landmass. If you measure the distances to the North Pole, the South Pole, and both the eastern and western edges of the continents, the pyramid sits almost perfectly balanced among them. Even more astonishing, it is aligned with true north with incredible accuracy, a feat difficult even with today's tools, yet achieved flawlessly thousands of years ago. Its positioning also corresponds with mathematical and astronomical principles that seem almost impossible for a Bronze Age society to have known. How did the Egyptians acquire such advanced understanding of geography and the cosmos? Was it chance or deliberate design? This is why some researchers argue that the pyramid's placement was no coincidence. They believe it was intentionally built on this exact spot for a reason, tied to deeper knowledge about Earth itself. The more we study, the more the Great Pyramid seems less like a simple tomb and more like a key to secrets far beyond its time. Inside the passageways of the Great Pyramid, there is a striking absence of soot or smoke stains on the walls. This detail suggests that the builders did not rely on torches to light their way through the dark corridors. Some scholars propose that the ancient Egyptians may have possessed a form of electric illumination, allowing them to see clearly in the narrow tunnels. If this idea is true, if they truly harnessed electricity, it would completely change our understanding of history. It would mean they were far more technologically advanced than we ever believed. Many researchers argue that the pyramids are simply too precise, too mathematically flawless, and too monumental to have been created with primitive tools alone, which brings forward the controversial question: did the Egyptians receive outside help, possibly from beings beyond this world? At first, this may sound unbelievable, yet the more one studies these monuments, the more baffling details emerge. Even by modern standards, the pyramid would be nearly impossible to construct. Its base is vast, its angles exact, and the entire structure is aligned with almost impossible accuracy. Each corner points almost perfectly toward the four cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west, within just a fraction of a degree, an error of only 0.05. Some experts suggest that this points to advanced knowledge of physics and engineering that was somehow lost over time. Others take the idea further, suggesting the pyramids might not have been built by human effort alone. When you turn to ancient Egyptian writings, another mystery surfaces. They speak of extraordinary beings who came from the sky, described as tall, powerful, and wise, with knowledge beyond human grasp. These figures were called the Neteru, a word often translated as the Watchers or the Guardians. Mythology says these beings descended from the heavens to guide humanity, teaching people how to farm, how to build, and how to understand the stars. They were described as wielding advanced tools, incredible powers, and even the ability to fly. Were these divine figures simply myths, or were they based on real visitors from beyond Earth? Some believe these Neteru could have been extraterrestrial beings who shared their knowledge with early civilizations. Inside several Egyptian temples, carvings seem to depict unusual, otherworldly forms. Some images show elongated skulls, large eyes, and suits that resemble modern astronaut gear. One of the most famous examples is in the Temple of Abydos, where hieroglyphs appear to show objects shaped like a helicopter, a spacecraft, and futuristic flying machines. Critics insist these are misreadings, but others argue they are direct records of what the Egyptians witnessed in their skies. The links between the pyramids and the stars deepen this mystery. The three pyramids of Giza are arranged in a formation that perfectly mirrors the three stars of Orion's belt. The match is so precise that many researchers reject the idea it could be coincidence. According to Egyptian belief, their god Osiris, the ruler of the afterlife, was connected to Orion. They believed that when pharaohs died, their souls traveled to this constellation to dwell among the gods. So, was this alignment simply a symbolic choice, or was it part of an actual connection with beings who may have come from Orion? Some suggest that the pyramids could have been more than tombs. They may have served as signals to the stars, a message directed outward into the cosmos. Looking at human history makes the question even more compelling. Around 5,000 years ago, humanity lived in small agricultural settlements, building huts and farming land. But seemingly overnight, Egypt advanced into one of the most sophisticated civilizations on Earth. They began constructing massive pyramids, developed mathematics and engineering far beyond their era, and mastered astronomy at a level we still struggle to match. It's almost as if someone handed them knowledge they had not earned slowly, but received suddenly, from an outside source. Examining the stones of the Great Pyramid adds another layer. The blocks are cut with such smoothness and precision, that they seem to have been shaped using tools as advanced as modern lasers. Engineers today claim that similar results would require diamond-tipped saws or high-powered cutting machines. How could people using only copper chisels achieve such perfection? Some theorize that the Egyptians possessed a technology we have since lost. Others argue they may have been assisted by beings with access to advanced instruments. For millennia, the Great Pyramid has stood like a silent sentinel, guarding secrets that continue to elude us. The more researchers study it, the more baffling it becomes. And it is not alone. Pyramids in Mexico, built by the Mayans and Aztecs, bear a striking resemblance to those in Egypt. Vast pyramid complexes in China, some still hidden beneath forests, show the same mathematical sophistication. The pyramids of Bosnia, believed by some to predate even Giza, also mirror these traits. These civilizations were separated by oceans and continents, with no known means of communication. Yet all built the same monumental structures aligned to the stars, guided by the same mysterious principles. Coincidence? Or proof of a shared influence? Perhaps the Great Pyramid is more than just a tomb or monument. Perhaps it was left as a message, a reminder that humanity is part of something greater. It teaches us that human potential stretches far beyond the limits we often accept. If ancient builders achieved such wonders, what might we be capable of today? Maybe the pyramids are not designed to give us easy answers. Perhaps their true purpose is to inspire us to keep asking deeper questions, to push the boundaries of knowledge, to believe in what seems impossible. Because the real strength is not locked inside the stones of the pyramid. The real strength lies within the human mind, its ability to question, to imagine, and to seek the truth. One day, we may finally unlock the final secrets of these monuments. Or perhaps their greatest secret is that they were never meant to be solved at all, only to awaken within us the courage to search endlessly for answers.